Now that PC component prices and pre-built prices have finally corrected and are somewhat back to normal, I wanted to go through the best gaming pre-builts that are on Amazon right now for the summer of 2022. So here's my list of the best gaming PCs that are currently on Amazon, ranging from the budget end at $715 all the way up to a mid to high tier PC at $1,700. So let's jump through these, starting from the low end, going up to the high end, and see what PCs we have available on Amazon. So we're starting off with the HP Pavilion Gaming Desktop, and this version is the $715 version on Amazon. All of these will be linked in the description below, both to the list and to the PCs themselves. So this thing comes with a Ryzen 5 5600G, which is a 6-core 12-thread processor with built-in integrated graphics, but you don't need those with the AMD Radeon RX 5500 that comes with this PC. Now, although I didn't have this exact model, I did have a HP Pavilion on this channel. We reviewed it, and it was an awesome PC with a 5300G and a 5500. Now, although it's not going to be the best performing PC, it does get you really good experiences and a lot of kind of esports and battle royale titles, those like Fortnite or Valorant, and it's at the $715 price point, which is unbeatable from most other PC manufacturers. It also comes with 8 gigs of RAM, which would have been nice to see 16, but it's still not bad, and a 512 gig SSD and Windows 11 Home. So overall, this HP Pavilion is a super nice small form factor PC that'll pretty much fit anywhere on your desk or under your desk. The cooling performance won't be great. There's not a lot of room for airflow, but you shouldn't need too much cooling performance with the 5600G or the RX 5500. So I wouldn't be too concerned. You shouldn't see any bottlenecking or throttling due to temperatures in this case with these components. So overall, this is a great PC for people just getting into PC gaming, wanting to test it out on a budget. But if you do have a little bit more money to spend, there are some other really nice options. So we're gonna go from the $900 to $1,200 range at this point. And pretty much what we're gonna get is, again, 6-core 12-thread CPUs and a pretty decent graphics card. So as you can see, I purchased this PC not that long ago, and we did a giveaway of this PC on the channel. And you should definitely get subscribed because there will be more PC giveaways coming to the channel soon. But overall, this is an awesome gaming PC with an i5-11400F. So it is a generation old on the CPU. It only has 8 gigs of DDR4, but you can always upgrade that to 16 for pretty cheap, just getting an extra 8 gig stick. And then you have a GeForce RTX 2060. So again, a generation old on the graphics card, but the 2060 is still a really, really nice performing GPU. So for an extra $200 overall, you get much more off-the-shelf components than the HP. You can always upgrade this thing, throw in more RAM, throw in a new power supply, throw in a new CPU or GPU. Those kind of upgradability aspects are endless with this type of PC, and you're also getting a much better GPU than the RX 5500. You also get a 500 gig NVMe SSD, Windows 11 Home, and it comes with Wi-Fi built in. So overall, this is an awesome PC, again, for under $1,000. That should allow you to play pretty much any gaming title at low to medium settings, and you can probably pop that up in a bunch of games like Valorant and those lower end like CSGO titles that don't require super intense graphics processing. But there are some other options that are a little bit more money. So for an extra $200-300, you can get yourself new generation hardware that is kind of hard to beat. This is pretty much the cheapest RTX 3060 PC that I could find, and it's the CyberPower PC Gamer Extreme. So a similar build spec or name to the last PC we just looked at from CyberPower PC, but this one comes with an i5 11600KF. So we upgrade from the 11400 to the 11600K, which should give us much more performance, higher clock speeds, overall just a better CPU, and then the RTX 3060, so the new generation of the kind of 60 series RTX cards. This one also comes with 16 gigs of RAM, better than the 8 gigs, a 500 gig NVMe SSD, and a 1 terabyte hard drive, Wi-Fi ready, and Windows 11 Home. So overall, this PC isn't going to have the best cooling performance. It's not as well cooled as that other CyberPower PC, which had an all mesh front panel. But overall, this PC is still going to perform really, really well. It looks like it's using similar components to what we just saw with the 11400F PC, micro ATX motherboard, not a super well-cooled RTX 3060. So the component should still perform plenty well, but you might be leaving a little bit on the table compared to if you were gonna build your own, RTX 3060 and 11600KF PC. But overall, it's an awesome build for this $1,200 price point, and it's kind of hard to beat if you want to get your hands on an RTX 3060 pre-built. But if you do want to spend a little bit more money, here is another option from Skytech. It's the Skytech Archangel, and it's pretty much the same build, but you're upgrading to the newest generation of CPU with the 12400F. So you're getting a brand new CPU, 12th generation Intel with a 1TB NVMe SSD, 16 gigs of RAM, 600 watt gold power supply, and Windows 10. So overall, this is another option to get you an RTX 3060. Based on this case, it's not going to be the best cooling, just like the CyberPower PC. You don't have too much room for airflow through this tiny front panel over here. But overall, it should still perform really, really well. And you're getting the full performance of an RTX 3060 for under $1,300. And it's pretty much RGB'd out. So if you like that aesthetic, you have that with this PC. And it just has a really nice gamer vibe with the hardware that's in this PC. But overall, again, micro ATX motherboard, nothing special. You don't really need that with the 12400F. You might want to go with a better motherboard with that 11600KF to get the most performance out of it. But with this PC, it's kind of minimal, and it's not really necessary with that 12400F unoverclockable CPU. So either way, I mean, if you want to spend the extra $80 to get the newest generation of CPU, that's an option. But I'd probably go with that 11600K and the RTX 3060 at this like $1,200 price point. But now let's step it up to some of the more premium, mid-tier, high-end PCs with these two $1,600 and $1,700 build options with RTX 3070s. So stepping up to an RTX 3070 is going to cost you, an extra $400 or $500, but you're also going to be stepping up the CPU along with it. So with this one, we have an i5 12600K. It is a Skytech Chronos PC with an RTX 3070, 1TB NVMe, 16 gigs of memory, and a 650 watt gold PSU, Wi-Fi, Windows 10 Home. So overall, you can kind of see that we're stepping it up in terms of the performance with that RTX 3070. Cooling on this case also looks very, very nice with a completely mesh front panel. It is lacking a little bit when it comes to top exhaust fans, so you don't have an amazing amount of exhaust. You have 3 intake fans and only 1 at the rear of the case. And you're also not getting the best CPU cooler. It looks like a stock Intel cooler on this 12600K. So you may see some issues when it comes to throttling or bottlenecking on the CPU with the lack of cooling. So that's one upgrade you might want to make, is to improve the cooling on this PC with some additional case fans and maybe an upgraded CPU cooler. And although you might not be able to completely overclock this CPU, the 12600K, on the motherboard that's going to come with this PC, you're still getting just the built-in benefits of a 12600K with higher clock speeds out of the box and all of that built in. But there is another option from Skytech, again at $1,700, and this one gets you a 5600X, the RTX 3070, 1TB NVMe, again 16 gigs of RAM. We step it up to a 750 watt gold PSU, which allows you to upgrade to some more power-hungry GPUs down the line, Windows 10 Home, and Wi-Fi. So overall, this CPU or PC build is it's a really, really nice case yet again. All that airflow through that front mesh panel. This time 2 intake fans and 1 exhaust, which isn't, again, the best. I wish we had a few more case fans in these PCs from Skytech, but it looks like a very similar motherboard setup with a micro ATX motherboard. They're cheaper motherboards than full-size ATX. They also allow you to use smaller cases, which is nice. So overall, no complaints there. And with the 5600X, I wouldn't be too worried there either. And it's going to use the stock AMD Wraith cooler that comes with the 5600X, but that's not too big of a concern on those AMD processors. But that's, again, another upgrade you can make is improved case flow or case airflow performance and a new CPU cooler. But overall, it's extremely difficult to get a PC with an RTX 3070 for cheaper than either of these PCs. And for a $100 savings to get a 12600K versus the 5600X, I'd probably go with the cheaper option with the RTX 3070 and the 12600K to really get into that 3070 ballpark of performance on a pre-built gaming desktop. So overall, these are my top builds that you can get right now on Amazon for the summer of 2022. So if you're looking for a new PC, depending on your budget, hopefully I covered an option that's available for you at your price point. We have some really good PCs out there, anywhere from $700 to $1,700 that are going to give you awesome performance depending on the games you're playing and what you're really trying to get out of your PC. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about any of the PCs featured in this video, be sure to leave those down below. And if you haven't already, get subscribed to the channel. Like I mentioned, there will be more pre-built gaming desktop giveaways and reviews coming to the channel soon, so definitely stay tuned.